many of you recall this picture? It's okay if you don't. The picture that was making the rounds in the XRP community, I think that initially began to really cycle about in 2020 or so, a few years ago. In essence though, it was a large square and each dot stood for a certain number of individuals. However, there is a little square area in the upper right corner dedicated to those who are familiar with crypto, who are cryptocurrency owners, who are aware of XRP, who possess XRP, and who have more than 25,000 XRP. I'm not sure how this chart appears right now, but one thing is for sure, despite the fact that cryptocurrency is still growing and spreading and becoming a larger part of the retail industry, one thing is definite: the hype machine is feeding them. Bitcoin, meme currencies, gaming tokens, and other things are being fed to them. They aren't being told that utility-based initiatives will make them extremely wealthy, even though that is a fact. The growth of institutional adoption is something I am confident will continue over the coming weeks and months. Legislation pertaining to stable coins and even cryptocurrency itself will eventually come to pass. I do believe that all of the barriers needed for cryptocurrency to be integrated into the global financial system will eventually be removed, and I do believe that many people will become extremely wealthy as a result of many fantastic ventures like XRP. Now, I frequently ask myself, how much XRP should I be holding? How much is sufficient? I have previously produced videos answering this question. Today, however, things are a little different because the market as a whole has clearly altered, and by that I mean that the pricing activity has changed. More specifically, XRP is no longer a project that costs 20, 30, 40, or even 50 cents. It is a cryptocurrency worth more than $2.00. And since you are aware of how much XRP is sufficient, this is where things start to change a little. Because 50,000 XRP would cost you at the current price, say 50 today would suddenly sound absurd. $107.00. Now, if we time travel back to say 2022, for instance, wouldn't that be reasonable? We would return to the entire year of 2022 if we zoom out on this chart and only go back to 2022, correct? You could have purchased XRP for less than 40 cents based on your total price action here. Let's just say 40 cents, shall we? Therefore, you would have spent roughly $20,000, 0 cents on 0 XRP. That sounds like me saying, oh yeah, $20, 0 cents. I realize now everyone has the ability to just invest. No, I'm saying that instead of $107, 0 cents, it would have cost you $20, 0 cents. This is where the main distinction lies. Thus, things are different now. However, the amusing thing about this is that I recently went through my Google Sheets, which I created a long time ago because I use it for many of these films. And as you can see, XRP was worth 38 cents when I created this Google Sheets. As 10 XRP would have cost roughly $3.80. There are many people who believe that to be a decent number. In a year, you could invest $3.80 because once more, you are not required to complete everything at once. For instance, you may spread it out over a period of time, say a year. You can invest a specific amount each month, but as you can imagine, 50,000 XRP would have cost you roughly $20, 0 cents, and 100 would have cost you almost $40, 0 cents. How different this area appears now. However, even so, I said, how much XRP do you need? It's a query. And this is a question that many have. The problem is that no one will have a definitive response. I'll say this, the greatest advice I could give somebody in this area isn't even related to XRP. It might be anything. Why not simply set up a weekly buy order for any cryptocurrency project that you are interested in, that you believe has potential, and that you believe will have great success in the future? Examples of such projects include Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, HBAR, XLM, and others. I mean, consider it. Over the course of, say, 2 to 5 years, if you set up a weekly buy order on an amount that you can afford, that you won't worry about, and that you won't be worried about at all, this weekly buy order will continue to hit and hit and hit and hit. Since this isn't an investment, you can be sure that your money is working for you, which is another reason why you will be really delighted with what you have in your account. Additionally, you're preventing inflation from depleting your money. However, this enables you to have a weekly buy order and to have an investment on the side that continues to grow from both your initial investment and your gains. Furthermore, you don't need to worry about holding a specific quantity of XRP because I don't believe that we should be adamant about holding 10,000 or 100 zelo of this coin, the entire notion of how much you should truly hold, in my opinion, everything depends on your general surroundings and financial security. Because of their financial circumstances, everyone views investments in a completely different way. For instance, some people would be okay if they purchase 100 zelo XRP at this time. Others, on the other hand, are only able to invest roughly $100, 0 cents, $500, 0 cents, or even $1, 0 cents. Everybody's circumstances are unique. Therefore, there is no universally applicable solution to the question of how much XRP is required. The reason I say this, though, is that I believe that everyone should set up a weekly or even monthly buy order rather than worrying about how much XRP they now own. Take a look at the statistics to see why I say this. Okay. 8 billion people are alive today, according to a recent post on X by Good Morning Crypto.